House lawmakers were scheduled to take up a Senate bill that would ban gender transitioning health care for minors. But protests and a parliamentary move changed the plan. Our Capitol correspondent Monica Madden is joining us live from the Capitol to tell us more about this unexpected change that happened within the last hour. Monica.
Hi, Britt. Well, right as the debate on Senate Bill 14 started, a Democratic representative raised a point of order, which is a parliamentarian type of move that they use to block legislation from moving. Now, while lawmakers were sorting out through this, these protesters behind me started chanting in opposition in the House gallery floor and eventually got kicked out, which is why they're here outside right now instead of inside. Their vocalness in the House gallery led Speaker Dade Phelan to ask the Sergeant of Arms to clear the House gallery, and we saw some protesters forced out of the hallway, then outside of the House chamber, and eventually DPS troopers cleared the protesters out of the Capitol altogether to where they are here now. So again, as this parliamentary move to block the Senate bill from actually getting a debate, push the bill to being debated at a further time, there's still a lot of concerns about when this bill does eventually get debated and if it will pass.
LGBTQ advocates clashing with a religious group in the Rotunda Tuesday. Both groups work to get their message across on this politically charged topic. Dallas dad Frank Gonzalez admits
it's not an easy decision for parents to get to this point.
Allowing his daughter Libby to transition was a hard choice.
The more that I learned, the more that I saw her thrive, I knew that we were on the right path. And now I see my daughter, who is her wonderful self.
But now Gonzalez worries if the House passes Senate Bill 14, Libby will be physically and mentally harmed.
Don't want it to go back to the time before where she was struggling.
The bill would prohibit children from getting procedures or treatments used for gender transitioning, like puberty-inhibiting drugs, hormone therapy, and surgical interventions.
So I believe this really is the right thing to do for Texas kids. I am 100% convinced of that.
The bill's sponsor, Representative Tom Oliverson, says as a physician, he does not think there's enough medical research on the long-term effects, worrying some children might regret life-altering choices.
An adult person of sound mind and body, if they want to permanently alter themselves and they understand what they're giving up and they want to do that, that's fine. But I don't think that an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old or even a 15-year-old is in a position to make a decision like that.
If the House votes yes, Gonzalez's family faces another tough choice.
We could flee. We don't want to, because community is important to us.
Now, as for what's next for Senate Bill 14, that's still pretty unclear for this group and everyone else who wants to know what's going to happen to that bill. State Representative Dustin Burrows, who chairs the Calendars Committee, they decide when these bills go to the House floor. He tweeted that Senate Bill 14 will be debated later this week. We haven't heard any further details about when exactly that will be. Britt, Daniel.
All right, Monica, thank you very much. And going in depth on this, just yesterday, Oklahoma's governor signed into law a bill banning all irreversible gender transition surgeries and hormone therapies for children under the age of 18. Now, penalties for healthcare workers who break the law include felony charges, having their medical license revoked, and opening themselves up to lawsuits from parents or civil guardians. Now take a look at this map from the Human Rights Campaign Foundation. The states you see there in red have passed laws or policies that ban gender-affirming care under the age of 18. Nearly 30% of transgender youth live in those states. The orange states you see have laws that are being considered, and the gray states have no restrictions.